Race number 8 of the second season of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series comes to you live from our first road course stop of the season. This is Sonoma, also known as Infineon, and for you old school NASCAR fans, Sears Point. We're getting set for 28 laps of racing here today, and this is definitely going to be a wild one because usually our road courses, especially last year, proved to be fuel strategy races, and so it may come down to a fuel strategy race here today as well. However, last year when we were here at Sonoma, we ran 28 laps, which is the scheduled distance for today, but we had 9 cautions during the span of those 28 laps, and 17 of those laps were run under the yellow flag. Hopefully, we'll be able to get into more of green flag runs here today because we are at a different version. Now, last year we ran an updated version. I believe it was Sonoma 2016. We're going back to basics. We are at the original in-game Infineon for this race, and we'll see if maybe, just maybe, we're going to have a slightly better race in terms of green flag racing rather than constantly running under pacing laps. But, of course, time will tell, as on our front row, we've got Ryan Brommer in that Pepsi-Cola Vanelli Dodge Challenger. He's still looking for his first win of the season, and second of his career. Same can be said for Benny Watson. He hasn't won since Darlington of last year, which we're coming up close to a year anniversary of that race. And Benny Watson really has been struggling in the point standings in the first 7 races as well, as has Ryan Brommer. Brommer is 36th in points. Benny Watson not that much better in 31st. So good starting track position for both of them here today. We'll see if maybe that will culminate into a victory. Let's give you your top 10 the points coming to this race real quick because they're not going to have a very long pace lap. Ryan Acosta is your points leader, 11 points over Mitchell Collins, who rolls off from the 4th position here today. Jordan Lopez is 16 points back in 3rd. Marcus Sacchi, that rookie, having a great run, 4th in the standings. He's 19 points back. Benjamin Miles, 22 points back in 5th. Let's quickly get the command.
Drivers, start your engine.
Rest of the top 10 in points, Carter Friesen is 6th. Matthew Rodriguez 7th. Carson Gum, our Atlanta winner, is 8th. William Brock, the defending winner of this race, is in 9th. And Seth Cole, who rolls off from 3rd today, is 10th. 32 points separate the top 10 in the standings. So far, 7 races, 7 different race winners. The most recent last week at the dirt track of Springfield Mile, and that was Michael Norman going to victory lane for the first time in his Duracell Cup Series career. So here we go. 28 laps of racing here today. Is track position going to be the important factor? Will fuel strategy be the important factor? Will we get some long green flag runs this season? All those questions about to be answered as Ryan Brommer gets us underway in wine country. Let's roll! So far, so good, it looked like. I didn't see anybody that was off the pace. A couple of drivers were slow at the tail end, but that was probably because they were just exiting out of turn 11 when the leader Ryan Brommer took the green flag. Got a car a little bit off course. There's Seth Cole as he's in a battle for 3rd with Mitchell Collins. Benny Watson's going to break away with 2nd, as right now the race leader is Ryan Brommer, and so far we are still clean and green up to this point. Now the battle is going to be on for the 4th position. Cody Lamas trying to get by Seth Cole down here into the S's. The S's at the updated Sonoma that we ran last year was a big trouble spot, especially right here in this area, this sweeping corner. A lot of drivers would mess up that area and usually would take somebody out with them. That was one of the trouble spots last year, as was just past the start-finish line when a lot of drivers wanted to take that corner 2 and 3 wide, and usually we'd have wrecks on the restarts, and usually it was the cautions breed cautions type of thing. Should mention as well, we are running the 2019 rules package, which I believe we're running the entirety of the season. If there are any tracks that we're going to that aren't running the 2019 rules package, they are very few and far between. Most of the tracks that we're running the CTS physics with the 2019 rules package. We've got a good battle here for 2nd place. Benny Watson trying to defend against Mitchell Collins. Mitchell Collins, so far this season, is 2nd in the point standings with 1 top 5, 3 top 10s, average finish of 14th place. So he's been really good here at the start of the year, trying to get his 2nd win of his career and 1st of the season. Of course, winning at Kansas last year. As looks like they've settled it out here amongst the top 5. Drop back here, and there's some good battling from 6th place on back. You got a couple of teammates back here. Vincel Muriego in 7th, Sebastian Kukulon in 8th. Jessica Shelton currently in 9th, trying to hold off rookie Alexander Rowe and James Qualls there. Shelton actually dropped back from 6th to 8th on this past lap, as Rose right now in 9th and Qualls currently completes your top 10. Mitchell Collins up there battling for 2nd. Driver, he's trying to get the points lead away from Ryan Acosta, currently just outside the top 10 in the 11th position. And there is William Brock battling with Dylan Young. Teammate Benjamin Miles just ahead. Carson Gum 3 wide there through turn 11, trying to get by both Dylan Young and rookie points leader Marcus Sacchi. Not successful there. Actually, all 3 of the Team Chevy Autosports cars right there, the 21, 31, and 3. Of course, Carson Gum, the only one of them that has won so far this season, taking the checker flag at Atlanta. There is William Brock. Didn't get an opportunity before the green flag to tell you what our onboard camera drivers are today if we need them. But Chevy onboard driver is going to be Marcus Sacchi. First time that we've actually got an onboard camera with a rookie this season, but for a guy that's leading the rookie points standings and 4th in the points after 7 races, definitely deserves to have an onboard camera. He's got the Sandvik on board. Jose Mills, he's got our Ford onboard camera. Jose Mills was a winner at a road course last year at Watkins Glen. He's got the Louisiana Hot Sauce onboard camera. Zach Rogers, he's got the MSI onboard camera, our Dodge designated driver. The Toyota driver is Wyatt Quayle. He's got our Hershey's onboard camera. And William Brock, he's got our helmet cam here today, the defending winner of this race. Sonoma was one of his 3 wins last season, and it was the first of his Duracell Cup Series career. As a matter of fact, why don't we use that helmet cam? Wow, Benjamin Miles went wide in that corner. Why don't we use that helmet cam, see what a driver sees in a lap around Sonoma. So give us an idea of what gears that use too. Right now he's in 4th gear. Just shifted down to 2nd. Going around the uphill right-hander. He'll probably stay in 2nd gear through these corners here. He won't shift back towards a higher gear until this downhill section. Shifts up to 3rd. Back down to 2nd. And now some drivers like to shift down to 1st gear in this corner. Let's see what he does. 2nd gear and nope, never hit 1st gear. Stayed in 2nd. This is one of the faster portions of the course here with the S's. He'll probably be up to 4th gear when he gets to the exit. He's also trying to feather it a little bit as he's trying to be able to get a run to pass Charles Sanford for what would be 14th place. And some drivers go to 2nd, some go to 1st down here in the hard braking zone of turn 11. Let's see what he does. Down to 2nd gear and into 1st gear in the center, probably to get a good launch off. As we got a battle up ahead of him there, Kyle Matthews, Carter Friesen, Charles Sanford mixing it up, and that's a lap around the racetrack, courtesy of William Brock's helmet cam. Move up towards the front. We got a battle going on from 2nd on back as leader Ryan Brommer has checked out by 1.3 seconds over Benny Watson. And you got Mitchell Collins in 3rd, Seth Cole in 4th. 5th place right now is Cody Lamas. Cody comes into this race currently in the 24th position in points. Last week was not a good run for him at Springfield. Dropped 10 spots in the standings, and not only that, lost quite a bit of ground on Marcus Sacchi for the rookie points lead. I believe that he and Sacchi were tied for the points lead heading into last week's Springfield race, and after that race was over, Marcus Sacchi left with a 4-point advantage back to Cody Lamas. So Cody definitely trying to bounce back from that. We got a battle here for 3rd. Seth Cole trying to get to the inside of Mitchell Collins, but not going to be able to be successful in that pass, and that opened up the door for Cody Lamas to now challenge for 4th. Well, we have just completed the 5th lap of this race. So far, we are still under green flag conditions. At this point 1 year ago, we were under probably our 3rd caution of the day, so the racing seems to be still very good all the way through the field, but we are at least being able to run under green flag conditions and not constantly under the yellow. As a battle between a couple of teammates here, Vince Almariego and rookie Sebastian Kukulon. I was actually just looking at some of these names that we got up here inside the top 10. Not a surprise to see some of them up here. Ryan Brommer finished 4th here 1 year ago, and he's out in front leading this race. And also James Qualls finished 2nd here last year, and he's up right now holding on to that 10th position. There he is. He's got teammate Ryan Acosta right back behind him, and we saw some good battling courtesy of the helmet cam of William Brock up here with Carter Friesen, Kyle Matthews, Charles Sanford. Well, Matthews and Friesen still battling it out. Carter Friesen currently riding a winless streak of 41 races, I believe. Nope, I'm sorry, 42 races. This is his 43rd race winless streak right now if he doesn't get a checkered flag today. Winning the Daytona 500 back in Season 1, has not been to victory lane since then. Kyle Matthews been to victory lane more recently than that. He took the checkered flag a couple weeks ago at ISM. That was 3 weeks ago. And he's got his teammate Charles Sanford all over his back bumper for that position. 13th is where Matthews currently runs. Their teammate Jessica Shelton up ahead of them, right now slotted in that 8th position, sandwiched between two rookies. Kukulan ahead, Alexander Rowe behind. Pretty impressive here for our rookies. We saw, what was it, last week I think it was at, no, not last week, 2 weeks ago at Bristol. A lot of rookies finished up inside of the top 10. Well, we've got 3 of them up inside the top 10 here, with Lamas in 5th, Kukulan in 7th, and Rowe currently in 9th. Gap continues to increase from Ryan Brommer back to Benny Watson. You got to wonder, though, maybe any of these guys might be thinking about saving fuel. We don't really know what the fuel window is for these drivers, and we can't really use last year as an example because we were under the caution for so long. Saw Mitchell Collins, looked like he messed up turn 11, but he got a really good run off the corner and is able to still hang on for that 3rd position. That last time by, another 2/10 gained by Ryan Brommer, and I guarantee you the one guy who does not want to see a caution right now is the guy we are looking at, because as he continues to build his lead, that gives him more options in terms of, you know, how much earlier into a corner he wants to let off to maybe save some fuel. It also gives him the opportunity to maybe throw down the gauntlet of when these drivers have to start thinking about strategy of whether they want to pit sooner or a couple laps later than Ryan Brommer. So, you know, right now the ball is in his court. We'll see if he can continue to grow his gap back to Benny Watson. Even if Benny Watson doesn't win this race, this is still a good performance for him. Same for Ryan Butcher, as both of them, as we mentioned at the top of the program, come into this race currently outside of the top 20 in points. Now, we mentioned the fact that William Brock is a former winner here last year. 4 of our 5 previous road course winners from Season 1 are in this field here today. William Brock, the Sonoma winner. You've also got Ryan Butcher. He was the winner at Pensacola when he was driving for Northeast Motorsports. He's in a Toyota here this season for his own team of Auto Junction Racing. Our Watkins Glen winner, Jose Mills, who's carrying one of our onboard cameras, he's in the field. And also our Charlotte Roval winner, Jesse Turner, who won that race under rather controversial circumstances. He's still in the field in the 47. The only driver who had a road course win last season that is not in the field here today, that was Diego Yepes when he took the checkered flag at Lime Rock last season. Let's actually find out where those former road course drivers, those former road course winners are running. Obviously the highest of those, I would assume, is William Brock. Yep, he's currently in the 16th position. There's Ryan Butcher. Right now he is scored in 21st. Got to go quite a ways back here before you find Jose Mills. He's in 28th, and Jesse Turner's right behind him in 29th. Everybody is still running on the lead lap and up to speed, I do believe. There's last week's winner, Michael Norman. He's currently back in the 34th position. Cole Baker, our Daytona 500 winner, in 39th. Matthew Rodriguez, 40th. That is the battle for next to last place right now. But all those drivers all still up here, and I mean, if any of these drivers are able to pull off any kind of fuel strategy, no doubt about it, they could put themselves into position to maybe win this race despite where they're currently running on track. And the way they've been racing each other so far, I don't really think we're going to be under a caution flag anytime soon. This is a battle right here. 26th, 27th, and 28th, Rogers, Gardner, and Mills. As we move a little bit further up, there's Carson Gum, just now in the 20th position. There's Benjamin Miles, the only driver out of Northeast Motorsports that has not won this season. He was up atop the point standings a few weeks ago. I think he was actually the points leader when we headed into the Springfield race. And now he is 5th in points. Good run in 15th place right now. There's Carter Friesen in 12th. Carter Friesen, his only win in the Duracell Cup Series is at a super speedway, but Carter Friesen's actually a very good road course racer, so not a surprise to see him up here inside the top 15. And this is the battle for the final spot in the top 10. James Qualls has it. Ryan Acosta wants it. Talk about a tale of two different teams here to start out the season. Ryan Acosta, the points leader. James Qualls, 38th in points coming into this one. And the other difference between them, James Qualls has a Duracell Cup Series victory that came at Martinsville last season. Ryan Acosta is still chasing his first career Duracell Cup Series win. Now, out of our 5 races last season that were run at road courses, 2 of them were won by drivers out of Northeast Motorsports. Right now, the highest driver out of that team, you're looking at him, the rookie Alexander Rowe, currently in 9th place. And, there's a lot of drivers here that, they're running rookie stripes, but in terms of experience, you can't really classify them as rookies. I mean, look at Cody Lamas. He's a former winner back in the Hershey's Cup Series, a former winner back, I believe, as well in the Snickers Cup Series. Marcus Sachi, I remember back in, I think it was Season 2. It was either Season 1 or Season 2. I think it was Season 2, though, of the Coors Light Truck Series. He made it into the playoffs, and I believe he was in the Final Four to compete for the championship in that season's finale. Alexander Rowe, a lot of races that I've seen, he was up near the front. I think he took part in the Pizza Hut X Series. I don't think he found victory lane in that series, but I remember that he was definitely a contender. And I remember, if I recall correctly, which track was it? It wasn't Montreal. There was a track we went to, and I remember he was actually a real prime contender up inside the top 5 for the entirety of that race. But I can't seem to remember what the track was called. I can picture it in my mind, but I can't remember what it was called. You can see the gap all the way back there to Benny Watson. Almost 4 seconds. That's just a showing of clean air, I think. Either that or Ryan Brummer's just got a really strong car. I mean, he qualified on the pole position, so we knew he had a fast race car anyway. His fastest lap so far are 1:15.349. And Benny Watson's fastest lap, 1:15.435. Matter of fact, I'm looking back through here. Seth Cole's got a faster lap. That was probably with a little bit of aid of draft, I would assume. And I think he's the only one that I can see that's run a lap even in the 1:14s. Yeah, and he just barely ran the 1:14s. He was 1:14.9. So he's right now got the fastest lap of the race, but he's currently mired in the 4th position. Kind of a train from 2nd place back through 5th place, and there's been some battling down in turn 11 between Seth Cole and Mitchell Collins for that 3rd position. But for the most part, these drivers have all basically just kind of ridden where they are. I think what they're doing is waiting for that pit stop. Now, I thought that maybe, just maybe, these drivers were going to have to make 2 pit stops, but we're about to complete lap 13. So we're closing in on the halfway point. So these drivers might be planning to split this race in half. And as things stand right now, I don't know. Is anybody going to be able to pull off any kind of strategy to be able to best Ryan Brommer? I mean, he's got the strongest car. There's no doubt about that. He has checked out on the rest of the field. And nobody coming to pit lane this lap, so nobody is short pitting. But we know if they can at least make it to the completion of lap 14, they will only have to pit once. The question is, when does that pit stop happen? Battle for 2nd. Mitchell Collins finally pressuring Benny Watson for that spot. Ooh, ran it wide there through that corner. That opens up the door for Seth Cole to make a move. And every time that these guys back here battle each other, it's taking away their opportunity to run their line. And it's just allowing Ryan Brummer to hit his marks and continue to pull away. What's going to be really interesting is if any of these drivers hit pit road this lap. If they're hit pit road this lap at the completion of lap 14, then they could be close in the closing stages of this race on whether they can make it the rest of the way or not. If they all come around and hit the start-finish line to complete this lap, then more than likely it's going to just come down to the pit stop of who's going to win. Ryan Brommer being out in front. I don't know at a road course if fuel consumption takes place, but he's pitting. And he's the only one. So maybe there is something like that. I was wondering if being out in front in the clean air, not having the aid of draft, although is there really draft at a road course? Probably not. But I was wondering if he was going to consume more fuel than all these other drivers, and you just saw right there in exchange for the race lead, Benny Watson's going to lead a lap. Mitchell Collins now realizes, hey, this isn't a battle for second anymore. This is a battle for the race lead. I better get on it. Tried to make a move again there going into turn 1 and was not able to complete the pass. So now comes the question, with Ryan Brommer coming to pit road, can anybody beat him on this pit stop? I would also be a little concerned if I'm Ryan Brommer coming to pit road when he did on whether he can make it on fuel the rest of the way. Because if he pitted, if that was as far as he can go, then he would basically have to coast through turn 11 and try and hope he had enough fumes to get back to the start-finish line. We'll wait and see. All these drivers, with them staying out the extra lap, they will probably be definitely good to go on fuel, so that definitely will be a story we'll have to keep an eye on here when we get to the closing stages. Let's see, anybody hitting pit road this time? Yep, Benny Watson's coming in. Mitchell Collins, everybody's coming in. Is anybody going to roll the dice, stay out an extra lap? Yep, Carter Friesen's going to go for it. Derek Hamill stays out as well, the rookie in the 31, so they'll go an extra lap. Now they have to hope and pray they're not going to run out of fuel, because if they do, it's going to take them a long time to get back around to pit road. It's like Dylan Young also stayed out in the 2 car. We'll wait until they get up here through a little bit further of the course before we look back and see who definitely stayed out. But Friesen is one, Hamill is another. Levi McIntyre stayed out, so did his teammate Chris Dollerton. Oh, and I thought I saw Dylan Young staying out, but I guess not. Maybe I saw the back of Chris Dollerton's car and thought that that was Dylan Young. So 2 teammates with the same strategy. You got a rookie here in Derek Hamill, who comes into this race 25th in points. And then you got Carter Friesen, who was 6th in the standings coming into this race, going with the ultimate strategy of staying out an extra lap. And I'd be very surprised if these 4 stay out another lap. I think they will probably have to come to pit road this time. And then when they do, we'll have to see if Ryan Brommer will be coming back out with the race lead, or did Benny Watson close up any ground between himself and the 9 car. Friesen and Hamill pit. McIntyre's in. And here comes Dollerton. There is Brommer. And Watson nowhere to be found. He's still all the way back here with Mitchell Collins. And that is a huge gap from the 75 back, or from the 9 back to the 75. But again, like I said, is Ryan Brommer good on fuel? Because he came to pit road before the completion of lap 14, which means if that's as far as he could go, he would probably have to come to pit road before the conclusion of lap 28, which is the final lap. So I'd be a little bit concerned if I'm Ryan Brommer. Unless Brommer, with the gap he's got right now, if he can save some fuel, you know, give up time on the track, save some fuel to make sure you're going to be able to go that final few hundred feet. Now, I believe Carter Friesen crossed the start-finish line on pit road, as did Derek Hamill, so we're going to have to wait for the next lap to see what exactly the gap is from Brommer back to Watson. No, we won't. Caution is out. And there goes the gap that Brommer built. First caution of the day on lap 17, and this changes up everything. Now, if I were to hazard a guess of what might have brought out the caution, I almost wonder if it might have been one of those 4 cars that stayed out longer, maybe merging back on track into traffic That's the only guess I could have. I've been wrong before. Wouldn't be the first time. And this caution will definitely make sure everybody is good to go on fuel now. But now we get to see if anybody's going to have anything for Ryan Brommer on a restart with less than 10 to go. Brommer hits the line. He'll take the caution. Pace car will pick him up. And you see the skid marks right there. Yep, that has all the signs of somebody coming out of pit road and running into someone. The question is, was it Friesen? Was it Hamill? Was it McIntyre? Or was it Dollarton? Because those were the only 4 drivers on pit road. Well, Kyle Matthews is all the way back here, so he might have been the one that got hit. And that might be our answer right there. It might have been Levi McIntyre. Nobody's on pit road. So the pits will be open this time. I don't think anybody's going to come to pit lane. But if they do, we will let you know. Also, point in fact, Ryan Brommer, coming back to the caution, just ran his fastest lap of the race at 1:15.047. But that huge gap that he had back to Benny Watson, which was almost 7 seconds, as you can see, it is gone. And everybody is going to be nose to tail for a restart with less than 10 to go. Let's go back and see what brought out this caution for the first time today at Sonoma. And it is indeed going to be Levi McIntyre coming out of pit road, and the car he gets is the 42 of Vince Almriego. There you can see Levi tries to merge back on track. He's as far left as he can go, and Vince Almriego just doesn't give him any room. Sideswipes him, and Levi's going to spin off the course. So too does Almriego. Fortunately for Vince Almriego, that car didn't have as much speed as it did. Otherwise, he probably would have hit those tire barriers, and those tire barriers are so unforgiving to a race car. But he stopped short of that, was able to continue on. I don't really even see very much visible damage on either the 99 or the 42. I just assumed it was McIntyre who was involved because he was all the way back around the 30th position. But I don't think those drivers really sustained a whole lot of damage. What really hurt both of them is they lost a ton of track position here for this restart. But that's what brought out the caution. Let's go back now for the green flag. So, we will go back green on lap 20. That'll give us a total of 9 laps to go here today at Sonoma. Ryan Brommer's got some company as Benny Watson lines up second, third place Mitchell Collins, fourth is Carter Friesen. All 4 manufacturers right now up inside of the top 4. Cody Lamas will restart 5th, Sebastian Kukulon 6th, 7th is Seth Cole, Charles Sanford 8th, Derek Hamill in 9th, and completing the top 10 is Jessica Shelton. So that strategy by Carter Friesen and Derek Hamill, that worked out for them, staying out that extra lap, as they'll be restarting up inside of the top 10. Let's go a little bit further down the field. Dylan Young restarts 11th, Benjamin Miles in 12th, Carson Gum 13th, James Qualls 14th, Ryan Butcher 15th, Casey Nanico, his teammate, in 16th, Trey Wright 17th, Keith Batson 18th, rest of the top 20 are Johnny Garner and Zach Rogers. 21st, Chris Dollarton, 22nd is going to be Austin LaPlante, Jordan Lopez 23rd, 24th is Alexander Rowe. He lost a lot of spots on pit road. Jesse Turner is 25th. 26th is Marcus Sachi. William Brock dropped back to 27th. Ryan Acosta 28th. 29th is Wyatt Quayle, and Matt McIntyre is 30th. Then the rest of the field, it's Matt Haas 31st. Levi McIntyre 32nd. He did not come to pit road, by the way. Jack Mitchell 33rd. Daytona 500 winner Cole Baker 34th. Matthew Rodriguez 35th. Adam Garcia 36th. Vince Almriego 37th. Last week's winner Michael Norman all the way back in 38th. Jose Mills in 39th. And our ISM winner Kyle Matthews right now in 40th. All 40 cars running. All 40 cars still on the lead lap. Green flag ready to come back out. Brommer gets a good jump. But we'll see if Benny Watson can stick with him, as here comes Carter Friesen battling for 4th. Now remember, Friesen's got fresher tires because he pitted 1 lap later than everybody else. So we'll see if that allows him to maybe get up here and mix it up with the top 3. Brommer trying to get away from Benny Watson. Opens about a car length and a half back to the 75. Then the battle is on for 3rd. Mitchell Collins, Carter Friesen, Cody Lamas. Collins gaps a little bit, so now it's Friesen and Lamas who will battle for 4th. And Sebastian Kukulon trying to join that party. Double wide back here in the S's. Seth Cole, Jessica Shelton side by side. Teammates Carson Gum and Derek Hamill battling back there as well. That was, I believe, for 12th. And Ryan Butcher now in the mix. He He's trying to get a position away from Hamill. Not going to be successful, at least not this time. Maybe he'll try down here in turn 11. Back up towards the front. Benny Watson has not lost touch with Ryan Brommer. He is right there. And Brommer, who was able to gap everybody on that first long green flag run, has not been able to pull away this time. Watson is right there with him. Now, that caution was kind of a, I don't know, kind of like a yin and yang for Ryan Brommer. It was a good thing because, remember, he was going to be close on fuel. We don't know if he would have been able to make it the entire final lap on fuel without having to maybe come to pit road and surrendering the win. The bad thing for him, though, was that he lost that almost 7-second gap from himself back to second place. But to be honest, with as strong a car as he's had, I think if he's able to hold off Benny Watson here, I think that he would be more thankful for that caution than anything because of it allowing him to save some fuel under pacing. Boy, Benny Watson's pushing it right there. He really drove it down there through the S's. And I think he closed the gap up a little bit between himself and Brommer. So Benny Watson's on the attack, trying to mirror, if not better, Ryan Brommer in these corners. That last time by, it was 0.3 of a second separation from the 9 to the 75. And visually, that's only about half a car length separation. Looks like Benny Watson's backing up the corners just a little bit to try and get a better exit. Through the first half of the course, Ryan Brommer appears to be the stronger car, but Benny Watson makes it back up when they get here into the downhill section through the S's. And what he needs to do is hope that Mitchell Collins doesn't reel him in and start making it a battle for second place, because if that happens, then that's going to allow Ryan Brommer to pull away even more. Ooh, looks like Watson was a little tight off that corner, or overdrove it some. Almost got off the course. And that would have spelled disaster for him. It already kind of did. As you can see, the gap this time around into turn 11 is a little bit wider than it was the last time around. Ryan Brommer, though, out in front, running some really good lap times. Last time was a 1:15.2. Let's see what he lays down this time. 1:15.4. And Watson was about 0.2 slower. As you can see, the gap increased from 3 to 0.5. I wonder about Carter Friesen. That strategy really worked out for him, staying out that extra lap. Moved him up into the top 5, and as I stated, he's got the freshest tires of anybody. Grip is a very difficult thing to come by here on the West Coast at a road course for certain. That's probably why we haven't seen as much passing here today as we might normally be accustomed to, with drivers maybe a little nervous about trying to make moves, with the fear that they could possibly screw up and take out themselves and their day when they're running up here towards the front. Some of these drivers might be thinking, all right, I don't have as good a car to get up there and battle Ryan Brommer for the win, but I can at least leave with a top 5 or a top 10 run. Got some drivers back here running well in the point standings that are going to leave with a good points day. Seth Cole, 10th in points coming into this one. He's currently in the 8th position. Charles Sanford just ahead of him, 12th in the standings coming into this one. Got Dylan Young back here. Good run for the 2 car. Dylan comes into this race 13th in points. And right behind him, Carson Gum, our Atlanta winner, 8th in the standings, and right now he's just outside the top 10 in that 11th position. Jump back up, see if anything has changed at the front. Not really. Benny Watson was actually faster that last lap than Ryan Brommer. He ran a 1:15.5 to Brommer's 1:15.6. Mitchell Collins was slower than both of them with a 1:15.7, and Friesen ran a 1:15.8. So out of the top 4, Watson was the fastest car that lap, and he's running out of time. Again, he kind of messed up that corner. He got really close to running his car off the course. And again, that's going to allow Ryan Brommer to pull away. I'm almost certain these drivers are not going to have to worry about fuel. I'm like 99.8% sure. But then again, I've been proven wrong before. So we can't say this race is over yet. Not until that checkered waves. That time Ryan Brommer gapped Benny Watson, but it looks like Watson's starting to close it back up again. Now Ryan Brommer, I'm trying to remember without having to look it up, of where his win was last year. I want to say it was at Hillside. Let's see if my brain still works. Pretty sure it was at Hillside. And survey says it was Hillside. Hey, how about that? I still have my faculties. Kind of. So that was a mile racetrack, mile speedway. And now he's trying to get his second career win here at a road course. And if he succeeds in winning this race, then all four manufacturers will have gone to victory lane in the first 8 races of the season. We've already got wins for Chevrolet, courtesy of Carson Gum and Cole Baker, as well as Kyle Matthews. We've got wins for Ford, courtesy of Jose Mills and Trey Wright. And we've got wins for Toyota, courtesy of Wyatt Quayle and Michael Norman. Boy, Benny Watson, all of a sudden his car is looking really, really good. That last time by, 1:16.1 for Brommer, 1:15.8 for Watson. Seems like when he gets up close to Ryan Brommer, his car doesn't handle as well. Let's see if he can keep it under him here in this area. This is where he messed up last couple of times he tried to make a charge. And, ooh, much nicer corner there for Benny Watson. And look at this. Look how he's closing up the gap here. Down the S's. It's where he seems to be his strongest when he's on the attack. And we could have ourselves a race for the win here in these final 2 laps. Benny Watson wants to make it a battle. Ryan Brommer says, no thank you, I've dominated this race. Please, I would love to be able to lead the final 2 laps as well. Looks like it's going to be between Brommer and Watson as they've gapped themselves back to Mitchell Collins in 3rd. So who's going to come away with the victory? Will it be Brommer or will it be Watson? That last time by, a little less than half a second separated the top 2. Watson is definitely good to go on fuel. Ryan Brommer, I would assume, is good to go on fuel with the aid of that caution flag coming out. So it's all down to who has the better race car. That last time by, they both ran almost identical lap times. Brommer was a tick quicker, about 9/100ths faster. Watson ran the corner a little bit wide there, but he at least didn't go off the course. Looked like he lost a little bit of ground there, though, that time. And now he's got to hope and pray that Ryan Brommer is not good to go on fuel, because I think that's the only shot Watson's going to have of stealing this victory away. White flag in the air. 1 more lap to go here at Sonoma. Ryan Brommer looking for his 2nd win of his Duracell Cup Series career. 1st of the season. 4th overall for the Bulldog Motorsports team, as he had a win last year. His teammate Zach Rogers had 2. 7/10 separate himself from Benny Watson. The question is, what about the fuel tank? Has he got enough? Got to make the decision of if he is going to run out of fuel, does he come to pit road and try coasting down pit road to the start-finish line? He's got that number 1 pit stall, so he would cross the line on pit road, or Does he coast it through turn 11 and hope that he can pick the gas back up off the exit to get back to the start-finish line? This is going to be the answer to that question as he comes down here towards the straightaway heading for 11. He's going to stay on track. Still under power as he brakes hard down to turn 11. Watson gives it one final attempt. He's not going to be close enough, though. Brommer picks up the throttle, and he's going to make it. Ryan Brommer is going to win the Toyota Save Mart 350 at Sonoma. Big win there for Ryan Brommer. We mentioned he had a win last year at Hillside. That happened during the playoffs. With a win here today, did Ryan Brommer maybe secure himself a spot in his first chase appearance? No doubt his goal is to try and stay in the top 30 in points after this, as he came into this race 36th in the standings. But a great run for a struggling team here at the beginning of this season. And it's Bulldog Motorsports' first win of the season, first win for Dodge, and now all four manufacturers have gone to victory lane in the first 8 races of the year. Standings are official. Ryan Brommer with the win. Benny Watson brings it home in second. Didn't get the win, but that's another driver that really needed a good run, as Watson will undoubtedly move up from 31st in points with the runner-up finish. Mitchell Collins brings it home in third. Now, the driver he was basically battling today at this point was Ryan Acosta, who didn't even finish up inside the top 25. So I think Mitchell Collins, with a third-place run, will be taking the points lead over heading into Michigan next week. Carter Friesen, that pit strategy call, gets him a 4th-place run, and rookie of the race Cody Lamas, after the struggles of Springfield last week with a top 5. And this will probably put him back in the hunt of the Rookie of the Year title. Rest of your top 10, another rookie in Sebastian Kukul on 6th. Charles Sanford brings it home 7th, so this will probably move him into the top 10 in points. Seth Cole brings it home in 8th. Jessica Shelton in 9th. And completing your top 10 was Dylan Young. Take a look down through the remainder of the finishing results here from this one. Some drivers that really fell back after the pit stops. Ryan Acosta fell back. He finishes in the 36th position, so he'll definitely lose the points lead. Kyle Matthews fell back. Marcus Sachi fell back. William Brock really fell back as well to 26th. Same for Alexander Rowe. He fell back to 25th place. So some drivers that were running up near the front, up inside the top 10, top 15 early on, that's not where they finished, and a lot of that was due to the green flag pit stop and the timing of that only caution that we had here today. So we didn't have that much of a battle for the lead and the consequential win, granted, but at least we weren't constantly under the yellow flag either. So I think that this will probably be the Sonoma, if there is a Season 3 of Duracell Cup that we will come back to. There might be some changes made as far as the track conditions and everything to maybe make the racing a little bit better, but give me this kind of a race with green flag conditions any day rather than a wreck-filled road course race where these drivers don't even get a chance to be able to get any green flag racing in. But nonetheless, congratulations to Ryan Brommer on the victory here today at Sonoma. If you enjoyed today's race, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We have shown you your full figure results. These are your point standings heading into next week's race. Next week, we're going to the 2-mile Michigan International Raceway. That's going to be a wild one, and the 2019 rules package will be using that, so that is going to be a crazy, crazy race. After that, we go to Pikes Peak, then we go to Texas, Darlington, Fuel Motorsports Park before the All-Star race break. But until then, I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best. So long from Sonoma.